Good evening, everybody. Welcome to The Best Getting Better. I'm Steve Lentini, and I've been in sales and sales management and coaching and helping salespeople succeed, and people in general, helping people succeed since 1975. That's what I do. Actually, when I was a kid, I remember telling people and encouraging people, no, you can do it. If you make your mind up, you can do it. Stick to it. And so, what the best getting better is every Thursday. By the way, time out. We're going to be moving the time frame to noon. So I'll have lunch with you guys. And I think it's a better time frame than asking you to come every night at every Thursday at 6 o'clock, 6 to 8. So anyway, what I do is help the best get better, and the best getting better primarily has to do with thinking and speaking. Most people don't understand how the universe is organized, and how it's organized is it responds to our thinking. If you've seen The Secret or some of the other movies about, I want to say there's one called What About This? Anyway, there's a lot of references about the organized thinking process in the universe responds to our thinking process. So you say, Steve, what do you mean there's a thinking process in the universe? If you've ever listened to Deepak Chopra or Wayne Dyer or some of the great thinkers, even going back to the Kabbalists, it's 4,000 years ago. All these people had a knowing about how the universe responds to us, because the universe itself is living, breathing, movement, action, knowledge. It's all about responding to action, knowledge, thinking, speaking. So everything we do projects an energy into the universe. And so a lot of salespeople don't get it. They're stressed about meeting a goal. They're stressed about knocking on the door and meeting people. They're stressed about getting a no because they've got this idea in their head. They've got this quota to meet. And it's really not true. That's not true. You might have a quota in the sense of a written number. But the thing is, if you're positive and vibrant and you're managing the energy that you put out and you're convinced, I'm putting out good and I'm going to get back good. And I'm putting out, I am awesome. I am vibrant. I am valued. I am creative. And when with your other people, you're silently wishing them joy, success, and happiness, because in an infinite universe, there's plenty to go around. You have no competition. Yeah, do some people do better than others and they win more business? Absolutely true. But I've seen $500 million companies go down overnight. $300 million companies go down because it isn't organized. It isn't about what you're doing all the time. It's how you're being and the doing. But first, whatever you're generating in the world is something that's coming back in a cause and effect world. It's coming back from what you put out. That's how it works. You're the master. Life is the teacher. So when you want feedback about what do you have to change, the feedback is, how's your life working? What do your friends look like? What are the 5 or 10 people that you have around you? What do they say? What is it? What is it? How would you describe them, right? So if you would describe them as energetic and positive and accomplished people who are really out there in the world getting something done, then that's a reflection of you. If you would say that your friends really don't want to do anything, they're playing video games, they're not ambitious, they have a complaint about everything in life, well, guess what? That's you. See, that's you. And that's the miracle of life itself, is that you don't have to look far to figure out what's going on. You just take a list, take a look, do an inventory, take an inventory of what's happening in your life and the people that you surround yourself with, and there you go. There'll be the message. So I know that I have to continually upgrade the people that I'm with because that stretches me and it makes me a little uncomfortable, which is good. If you're not uncomfortable, then guess what? You're not going to grow because you can't stay comfortable and have a new future. You have to do something new. You have to. Okay, so now remember to adjust your thinking. And if you find yourself being hooked by something negative, it's our own brain that is feeding us this idea that we're less than someone, because we're not. And we're not more than anyone else either, by the way. That's just not how it works. If you're stressed and you get hooked by something and it's negative, the thing to do is to notice it and then change your mind. Change your mind, change your thinking. Remember that you're part of the infinite, the universe, whatever you want to call it. You can call it the divine, Harry, Eloise, Mary, the universe, the infinite, God. For me, that's what it is. It could be that for you. But as long as there's something higher, then you'll continue to evolve and grow, because that's how the universe is organized. It's organized on growth. Why do you think humanity has grown and things have changed? It's not just electronics that are upgrading. We're upgrading. A lot of people want to drag us back down into the Middle Ages, thinking that those were the good old days, when I could chop off somebody's arm because they were dishonest. Please, it's crazy thinking that we could go backwards to go forwards. It's always rising above that place where we see the horizon is flat. We have to push into the new, like Columbus and his crew did, right? They were afraid as hell, I'm sure, most of those sailors, thinking when the first storm came, when he set sail, that this guy's nuts, the horizon's flat, we're going to fall off the edge. It's still happening in your life. The key is to keep pushing beyond where you make an assumption. Like if you have some assumption about certain races, you're a dummy, right? Because guess what? Everyone and every race has people that are negative and people that are positive. So there are no races. We're all the same. We look different, but you ever see Star Wars? Man, people look different out in the universe. So remember to get over yourself and to get over where you think the world is flat. Like if you have an idea that you're only a Democrat or only a Republican, everybody's got to get over that, because look where it's got the country, right? One side just makes the other side wrong. Nobody knows where the truth is. It's called rhetoric. This is a place where the horizon is flat. We have to push beyond it and stop making each other wrong because of our beliefs. Someone's a liberal, someone's a conservative. So what? Who cares? Let's talk and meet in the middle. That's what life is. It's a negotiation. Same thing with your clients and your job, right? It's a negotiation. So if you're not attached to some goal or your boss yelling at you because you have a quota, you can just be in the moment and ask people the right questions. You can even challenge people. I've challenged people on their assumptions in a gentle way, sometimes in a harsher way, and said, really, let's talk about this a minute. I have had a client who was going in your direction. They actually even made the decision, made the change to what you're proposing, even to the particular supplier you're talking about, changing to, and it was a disaster. Would you like to hear what happened? If I don't tell them the truth and make them a little uncomfortable, then I'm not a good supplier. I'm not trustworthy. And that's one thing I am, and the people know that about me. And that's how you get known. People buy from people they like and trust. And if they can count on you to deliver the hard news, rather than the fluff, verbal diarrhea, talking like crazy, I'm the best, we're the best, here's what we can do for you, we can do this for you, we can do that for you. That makes people, you ever see the Verizon ad years ago where people's eyes were going like this? Now I'm dating myself, it might be 15 years ago. That drives people crazy. Have a dialogue back and forth. Think of adult conversation as a pendulum moving back and forth. People move from being sold to not being sold. But when they're sold, it's because you had a back and forth dialogue and you helped them come to a conclusion. It's called helping people buy. And when you're projecting your energy, you're projecting out positive energy to them that I'm not here to sell them. I'm here to help them buy. And if I hear that they're a fit, then great. We'll move together, and I'll keep asking them, what do you think's next? What do we do next? If I did my work and help them hear that they need me, then I don't have to close, by the way. The chapter on closing should be this big in any book. If you've done your work, all the chapters ahead of closing are big. I have a new book coming out, Sales Success for the Rookie, How to Succeed at Sales Right from the Start. And you're going to love it. But I do a lot of reading. I'm reading Jeffrey Gitomer's book. Let me see if I have it here. I don't. I took it with me. Hold on a second. It's Jeffrey Gitomer's great little book on closing. It's a great book. It's this big. Really, it's this big, and it's a little book. He says all the same things that I've been saying for years, and Jeffrey's been saying it for years. I learned a lot of stuff from his book, The Sales Bible, and many of us other little books, the little red book on selling and the black book on networking. I'm a fan of Jeffrey Gitomer. I'm a fan of The Challenger Sale. I'm a fan of Mastering the Complex Sale by Jeffrey Thull. I'm a fan of Sandler Sales. I'm a fan of Dale Carnegie. All of these things work together. And I study them all because I'm the Cliff Notes for my clients. And what you know will be important, just as important as what you're projecting when you're in front of a client. You want to be projecting positive. Deepak Chopra says you can wish people joy, success, and happiness silently. You can bless people silently. Wishing people success is an amazing energy because they pick it up from you. They'll say things like to other people and to other people in the company, they'll say, I don't know what it is about that guy from XYZ company. There's something about him I like him. Even if they don't buy from you now, they're going to recommend you. See, that's really something. You've arrived when people are recommending you. Okay, so every Thursday, we're going to change to noon, right? I spelled the title of today's seminar, Thursday, Thursdah. So I'm silently wishing you all success and happiness and blessing you. And we're moving to Thursday, every Thursday webinar to noon. New time, noon. But you can catch the replays anytime you want. So you can catch this replay. You can catch every week that I've been on, which has been since December. So there's quite a bit of seminars in the can, so to speak, in the file, in the archives. You can go to the archives. So my job is to help people succeed, and the way to have an adult conversation is to learn about your own personality and what you need to modulate. What behaviors do you need to control when you're in front of a client? Because some people talk too much. Some people go on and on and on and on and never make a point. Some people don't talk enough. They don't know how to ask questions. Some people don't know how to challenge someone. Some people don't know how to match and mirror. They have no idea. They think when they get in front of a client that it's all about them. It's not about you. When you're in front of a client, it's about them. What you want to do is have questions prepared that help them hear. All right, take this down. Help them hear. The prospect needs to hear whether they need you or not. And you're doing the same thing because you have rights as a salesperson. You don't have to sell everybody. It's crazy to think you have to sell everybody. You don't. So why is it? Why is it that you don't sell everyone? Some people won't make a profit. It's all about low price. Some people don't respect your time. Some people don't buy enough. They just don't buy enough. They might tell you when you're prospecting, oh yeah, we buy $150,000 a year of what you're, then you get there and you find out the person's not even a decision maker, right? That they said something like that because they like people coming to see them and it makes them feel good. It makes them feel important. Yeah, people have done it. They invite salespeople in and they have no intention of buying from them. It's about you, though, learning how to deal with these situations and about asking the right questions so that you're qualifying people. I've made $1 million sales, multiple times, $1 million customers, multiple times. And it started out that I let them go. It wasn't a fit. And they agreed. In fact, one told me, I would never buy from you. I could never buy from you. He looked at my name tag and I said, how do you know I'd sell you? And that started a great journey because I gave him back what he gave me, and he's a great guy. Turned out to be a great guy and a great customer for that particular company. So I've had a lot of experiences over 40 years, and I've worked with a lot of salespeople, and I can tell you what holds salespeople back. What holds them back is what they don't know that they don't know about themselves. So they show up as a schnorrer or a dope or a greedy guy, or they show up as a know-it-all. I mean, I've seen all of these things. I remember coaching one guy saying to him, geez, your sales, you paid for this territory, right? A guy retired and he paid the retiring guy. He was still paying the retiring guy some money every month. And I said, so you're paying somebody for this territory, and it was $1.4 million or $5 million. Now it's down to $900,000. How does that make you feel? You've paid the guy money and it's going backwards. And he exploded. You don't, the owner sent you, you don't know what I go through. You don't know what my problems are. You don't know the health challenges I've had. I said, did you tell me? I had been at the company maybe 6-8 months or a year. Did you tell me? No. I told some lady in credit. I forget her name. Ginny. He said, I told Ginny. Really? What the hell good does telling her do anything when you don't work for her? And she's got nothing to do with helping you get to where you want to go. I mean, where you want to go is having a vibrant life, growing, getting off of this idea that you're stuck. And believe me, it had nothing to do with 1 year. This was something that was going on over 3.5 or 4 years. The guy was just shrinking and not working. That's what happens when your sales aren't growing. You're not working. You're not thinking about growth. You're not targeting 4 or 5 people, which enlivens you. If you got a target of 4 or 5 people, you get out there and you go call on them, you see what happens. You can't control what happens. In selling, you can only control yourself. If you think you can control other people, that you might, maybe you can manipulate a few people, but eventually that is a negative energy that returns back to you. You can't manipulate anybody. And you eventually get caught and you lose the business. And you lose it forever. That's the thing with that. Or until somebody new comes in. Then maybe you got a shot to go back in again. So manage yourself. Change yourself. If your sales are flat, be honest, like going to a 12-step program. Confess it. My sales are flat. Go to your boss, say, my sales have been flat. I'm not working smart, or I'm not working really. I'm maintaining. That's all I'm doing is calling the people I have, and I'm calling it a day's work. And I need some help. There you go. A boss would appreciate that because it's honest and it's true. So get out there every day. Have targets. Have a pipeline, right? So that you can think of it as a pipeline. Make a funnel, right? If you want, make a funnel and have at the top of the funnel the ones that are the furthest away from closing, and the ones at the bottom that you think are going to drop down to close. And track it. You can't manage what you don't measure. So measure your activity. Do you have to go to 5 networking meetings a month in order to meet 10 people who introduce you, or even maybe 2 give you an appointment and you make 1 sale? Understand how much behavior is going to give you a sale and bring you to a close. And when you understand that, you can repeat it. See, it becomes a system like McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's or any franchise, right? Subway. They repeat a system and it works because now their customers know wherever they see a sign that it's going to be the same. The customer likes that, right? So then you have a system so that your boss knows you're working, and they become comfortable with it because they know that you're going to keep calling on people. And for every 20, you're going to get 2 appointments and 1 close. So that if every 20 is 4 people a day times 5 days, that's 20 a week. You're going to get a close a week. That's 4 closes a month. Let's suppose that your ideal customer is 300,000. That's $1.2 million in close. That's great. Let's suppose your ideal customer is 500,000, 50,000, whatever it is that helps pay the bills. You get $50,000 customers a month, right? Figure out what that is. That's 200,000. That's 200,000 a month times 12. Wow, you've made yourself quite a territory. But if you're not knocking on those doors, and you're not going to get them, then if the other thing is, if you're not calling high enough, if you're not calling on the Vito, as Sandler has a book out called Vito, the Very Important Top Officer. If you're not calling high enough, then you're struggling to get your way up in a company instead of starting at the top and having yourself either thrown out. So the president throws you out, who cares? Oftentimes they're looking for improved productivity, improved bottom line, reduction of costs, right? Who's either the CFO, the CEO. They're looking for those things. They'll send you to the right person in the company, but you got to take the risk to call high enough. These are all things that a lot of people are not doing. I know, 40 years I've been working with them, writing with them, watching them. So you want to have time to bond and rapport. You want to have positive energy exuding from you, even if you're wishing them silent energy, silent joy, happiness, and success, or even blessing them. You want to spend 12 or 20% of the call. So if it's a 60-minute call, 12 minutes, sometime around 20, no more than 30% of the call, bonding with people, and you can match and mirror their words, their mannerisms, their speech, their tone of speech, their sound, the level of sound. You can be listening for how people present themselves and manage yourself down to their level, because they'll say, wow, there's something about this person that I like. And it's because you gave them a nod of respect by speaking like they speak. If they pick up their pace and tone, if that's when you walk in, the person's loud and they're fast, so then, and you're soft and a little quiet, you pick up your tone, because they're going to be uncomfortable with you if you're slow and quiet, and they're going to go, wow, I got to drag this person around. Really? So these are all things that you can do. And then after you bond, you let them know what your process is like. Hey, I have a process. I thought about our call to make it most productive, and I got an agenda. Here's what I thought that we would cover based on what you told me. You show it to them. Let them read it. Is there anything you'd add to that? Maybe not. If they do, they go, oh, okay, why'd you want to add that? Well, here's what's going on. It might be the place to start. Should we start here? See, it brings you from the bond into you've told them an agenda and showed them you thought about the call. And you can say, listen, part of my process is to ask a lot of questions so we can figure out together if we're a fit. Do you mind telling me at some point if you feel like we're not a fit? Let me know. I'm okay with no. If I'm feeling the same way, do you mind if I say, geez, I don't think at this point we could do it, unless maybe you want to hear some ideas I have about how we could? It's a dialogue. It's getting into that adult conversation. Picture it like a pendulum. That's what you want to do. After you've asked enough questions and you understand what the pain is, right? Why would they switch? Why would they buy your product? They have to have enough pain from whatever it is they're using, or that whatever it is they're doing is not working, and it's not working so long they have to change. Maybe it's going to mean this person's job. I'll often talk about change too. So why do we need to change this? I mean, why do you want to change this? What if you stayed with this? What's it costing you? I can't stay with this. The boss said I'm out of here if I don't change this in the next 60 days. Okay, great. All right, so what if you, the last time you changed, what did it look like? Was it good? Was it painful? It was painful. These people that we went to, it was painful. Okay, so you don't want that to happen again. What if that happened again? Again, probably lose my job. All right. Okay, so what if I said we can get you 50% of the way to where you want to go? Maybe that's good enough. You want to find out because you don't want to overpromise. What if I said 75%? I think we can get you further than that, and I want to be sure because I don't want to set the expectations too high. So can we talk about now? Would you like to hear what my theory is and what my solution is? So after you've got enough information, then you present only to the needs they're asking about. So you present only to the needs they're asking about. And then the close, when you're done presenting, you can do things like this. Okay, on a scale of 0 to 8, if 0 was, I missed my mark totally, and 8 was we decide what the next step was, where are you in that scale? If they say 5, then you have a little bit of work to do. Okay, so what do you need to hear to get to an 8? They'll tell you what they need, what you missed. If you're at 0 or 2, I don't know. You say, wow, I really missed something. You're at 3. I really missed something. I got to start over. Okay. All right. Then there's something called the post cell. So let's suppose you get to the, you've done all the questioning, you made your presentation, you get to, hey, what do we do next? Well, hey, do you have a contract? What does that look like? Can we start talking about terms? You're closing. You're closing. That's it. That's what you needed. So now you answer the contract, the terms. Okay. So now this is all complete. What do we do next? You keep asking. What's the next step in your mind? Okay, well, I'm ready to sign. Let me bring it over to my boss, and you want to wait here for a few minutes? I'll bring him in. We'll get this signed. Oh, great. When they come in to sign, you say, all right, before you guys sign this, is there any other thoughts you have? I want to make sure that you're really feeling comfortable. You post sell, you push it back a little bit. I've done this with big checks. Big checks, pushed them back for training. You sure? You want to go ahead in the program? Yes, I do. Okay. And they push me the check back. Now I know they're committed. That's why I want to do that. That's why I want to do it. So the big thing that I impress on every training is, number one, before we talk about systems and enhance every section, like talk about the decision and the budget and the presenting and the pain questions, and we can craft questions, we can do all of this stuff. But before I do that in every session, I'm always tweaking people's thinking, because I have a number of coaching clients right now that I'm active with, 25 or 30, and growing. And the big thing that they're noticing in their life, the reason they came to me was because they heard about the success that I've had with other people. That's what they've heard about. And then that success was really the person listening to me and changing. And when they changed, things changed. And that's what's really important. When you change, things change. But don't take my word for it. Go experiment. Start changing. You could take this one seminar, $25, change your life, make millions. Over the lifetime, right? Most people would rather invest in their kitchen than invest in themselves, because they see a return on the kitchen. But you're missing the point. The return on a lifetime of earnings growing 10%, 15%, 20%, 100%, because you change your mind, change your thinking. Start with the end in mind, that picture of where you want to be, and then you work backwards and say, does my behavior every day match with that ladder that brought me to my goal up here? Because if not, then you got to change the rungs. You've got to change. You start with the end in mind. Picture that big, hairy, audacious goal, BHAG, that big goal. And then work backwards to a list of behaviors that in your brain, they go, yeah, that'll make sense to get to here. Then during the week, you make sure you're still committed to doing those behaviors that'll get you to where you want to go. Because if you do, you will get to where you want to go. I need to hear this as much as anybody, right? It's perfect, because it reminds me, keep doing those same things. All right, so how do you get a hold of me? Steve@stevelentini.com. Steve@stevelentini.com. That's STEVE @STEVEL as in Linda, EN, T as in Tom, INI.com. SteveLentini.com. And my phone number is 917-805-1088. 917-805-1088. So keep looking for the book, Sales Success for the Rookie, How to Succeed at Sales Right from the Start. It'll be out shortly. Also, I am a contributing author in the book called Imagine. I have a copy, actually. Let me just get it. I didn't leave you. I'm still looking for, I was going to find the Jeffrey Gitomer book just to show you what it looks like. Oh, here it is here. So I'll show you this. So imagine 30 Days to a New You. Page 222 is where my chapter begins. Imagine 30 Days to a New You. It's on Amazon now. Another great book is Jeffrey Gitomer's Little But Power. Very little book, but very powerful book on closing. Great ideas. All things that support my teaching and training. Maybe I learned it from Jeffrey, but I've also done it over my 40 years. So I started in 1975, Jeffrey, in case you're looking in on this. All right, everybody. Thank you for attending. Have a great night. Tell your friends to catch the replay, and catch me next week at noon, new time. Thank you. Good night.